Hello, everyone. This is Garrett here with our first book review. With my first book review, this is something I've wanted to do for a while now, um, um, but I thought it would be important to share good historical books out there where there's getting less and less truth in history. The first one that I'm covering is a super big interest of mine, which is crime history, 20th century crime history, especially. And that includes like the mafia days, and the prohibition and the gambling and everything else. Um, I love like the 20s and 30s stories of that era and that type of history. That and military history are my specialties. Um, but as you'll come to find out, um, anyway, but the first book that I want to go through is about, of course, the mob and the mafia, primarily around Hot Springs, and that's why we'll be covering. I just finished it. David Hill's The Vapors, a Southern Family, the New York Mob, and the rise and fall of Hot Springs, America's Forgotten Capital of Vice. Um, like I said, that's by David Hill. It's a really really cool cover too, and book spine there on the book. That's what drew me to it in the first place. Then I realized what it was about, and considering I live only an hour and a half or so from Hot Springs, we go to Hot Springs, once a month or two, and stay weekends. So it's the history there is I knew was important. I already knew quite a bit about it, but I've never read a book about it. And this book just came out a few months ago, and it proved to be an incredible book about the Vapors, as the title suggests, which is a club. The building still stands. It's a church now with the original sign, but the building is all in metal siding now. But the sign is all very futuristic, retro futuristic looking. Anyway, the book is all about, as the subtitle suggests, a Southern family, which is the author's family, who had their roots in the gambling era of Hot Springs, 30s to 60s primarily. And the New York mob, of course, was involved very heavily in and the Chicago outfit in Hot Springs, and then kind of ventured out to Las Vegas and Hot Springs with the help of church officials and everything like that, and then new governorships in the mid to late '60s. Got rid of every gambling institution ever, and all the corruption kind of weeded out. But this book is really incredible. It has some really good moments in it. Stuff I didn't know about the history of Hot Springs, that era. It's just right up my alley. It really, really this book has really been just wonderful. I've read a lot of crime history books about Prohibition and things like that. Most of them have been about Al Capone or John Dillinger or Prohibition in general, or mobs or whatever. Well, this has been just a wonderful combination of it all, really, and about kind of a local history for me. So I definitely recommend it. The book, there's a lot of big characters in it, such as Oni Madden, who was a top New York mob guy who came and lived in Hot Springs for a while. The author's family, of course, is in it, and they're known now because of this book. But no household names as far as that goes, but it's really, really interesting, his side of it as well. Like I said, Oni Madden's in it. The author even references Al and Ralph Capone several times in it. Frank Lucky Luciano makes some appearances in it, as does Frank Nash, who was arrested in Hot Springs in the 30s in the White Front Cigar Store, which I've been to in Hot Springs. It's really incredible. There's a plaque on the building now, right there on Central Avenue downtown. He was actually taken away and killed in the Kansas City massacre, along with some FBI agents, probably by Pretty Boy Floyd and others. But anyway, so that's all in here, and it's such a good book. I would say next to Public Enemies, not the movie. The movie's great, but not the movie. The book by Brian Burroughs, that the movie was kind of loosely based off of. The movie was just about John Dillinger, but the book is about John Dillinger, Babyface Nelson, Pretty Boy Floyd, Bonnie and Clyde, Ma and Paul Barker, and the list goes on. This book, I would say that and this book right here are my favorite crime books, 20th century crime books that I've read about mob history. which is basically organized crime history is basically what I specialize in, that military history. So, like I said, this is the first of many book reviews. Very short and sweet, only about 5.5 minutes long, 6 minutes long. But this book is a must-read for anyone interested in that type of history. So, thank you very much, and I'll be back next time with a book that I've been really interested in reading, which is by Robert Matson, which is called Mission: Jimmy Stewart and the Fight for Europe. Thank you very much.